Good afternoon, good evening to all of you out there in cyberspace. My name is Capt Kirk Skywalker. That is my pen name. I was a member of the U.S. Armed Forces some time ago, a U.S. Army infantryman, but I never was a commissioned officer. The purpose of this presentation is to share with you my own views and theories as to why the United States government, the United States military in particular, are so concerned about maintaining such a high level of secrecy concerning UFOs and extraterrestrials. The position of the United States military, as far as I'm concerned, is make everybody think it has yet to happen, that extraterrestrials have yet to arrive on Earth at all. As long as they can maintain this, the institution of the presidency and all of our U.S. presidents are well protected from having to face the American people and admit, well, they already do know the truth, were told the truth when they took office, or they know absolutely nothing. As long as the secrecy can be maintained, the institution of the presidency is well protected from all those political repercussions. But also, the institution of the Pentagon is also well protected. And by that I mean the office of the Secretary of Defense. As far as I'm concerned, over the years, all of our secretaries of defense, going all the way back to James Forrestal, back to the year 1947, all of them have known the truth. As far as I'm concerned, they do have the ultimate need-to-know job. They have to be told and are told after they are confirmed by the United States Senate. And it is the admirals and generals of the Joint Chiefs of Staff that tell them what they decide to tell them. Now, what I'm about to share with you is what I was told when I had contact with certain extraterrestrials a long time ago. Specifically, they're known publicly as the Pleiades or the Pleiadians, but they call themselves the Pleiadians. I was recruited by them back in the year 1973. Indeed, a very long time ago. The recruiting did not work out for me, and I went my own way and they went their ways. I never did see them again. Among the reasons why I'm making this video presentation is the hope that maybe they'll try to get in touch with me again through my internet website. But more importantly, I'm doing my part to try and explain and educate the American people, or ultimately the people of Earth, about why things are the way they are, and also to warn them against the biggest lie yet to be told. The goal of the big lie is, of course, make everybody think that if there's a situation where the extraterrestrials do come forward publicly from seclusion, they want to make everybody think who's ever in office at the time is the very first U.S. president to learn of the recent arrival of extraterrestrials. Same goes for the United States Congress and all of our senators, and of course our military officers as well, particularly the admirals and generals that make up the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Make the world think they only recently learned of their existence when the truth really is Harry Truman was the first U.S. president to learn of the existence of extraterrestrials. Whatever Harry Truman started, it was Dwight Eisenhower who finalized the deals that were made back then. And secrecy, of course, has been maintained over the years to protect the institution of the presidency, all of our presidents who are still with us, the memories of those deceased. Our military also decides what they'll tell a newly elected U.S. president and what they're not going to tell him. And they may decide to keep a whole lot of information from him. Because it's one thing that we can all agree on. A United States president, the sitting U.S. president, can go public with any information told to him by the military. Even when it comes to issues of national security at the highest level, the U.S. president still has the power and the authority to go public with what he is told. That's the way it's supposed to be in our democracy. We look to our president for leadership. We look to him for answers. We demand answers from him. And at his discretion, he can answer questions put to him. Now, what I'm about to explain to you is what I was told by one Pacific Pleiadian a long time ago about how initial contact between extraterrestrials and our government took place. As he explained it, Roswell was very much a reality. It was the Roswell crash where there was a crew of 4, 3 of them died, but there was at least one lone survivor who was not badly injured, who was found by the military back then. The survivor was able to tell the people who found him how to go about getting in touch with the mothership by radio, specific details on how to do it. Our government immediately started to make attempts to make radio contact with that mothership, of course, because it's in their best interest too. They, of course, wanted to return the people to them. They also wanted to start some form of diplomatic negotiations with them, but to keep it all in secrecy. Now, the mothership decided to respond to the attempts to make radio contact with them once the radio transmissions kind of got the attention of the mothership. Here it was, very Pacific radio transmissions, broadcasts that had to have been explained to them by a survivor. So they knew there was at least one survivor of the crash that may have recently happened. So initial contact took place through the survivor. Radio contact was established. And then came the first face-to-face meeting with representatives of the mothership. That took place on one of our military bases, possibly as early as 1948 or as late as 1950. I call that first contact. Now, of course, there were very specific reasons why these meetings took place. This is what the Pleiadian told me at the time. Yes, they, of course, were interested in getting their own people back. And I'm, of course, talking about the Greys. But there were other bigger, more important specific reasons. The biggest one of all being they know there would be crashes in the future of extraterrestrial spacecraft, and they had to come to make some agreement over who would do what. So it was agreed upon that the United States military would put together crash retrieval teams that would be on standby. The moment any one of the ET spaceships went down and crashed, the mothership would contact these crash retrieval teams and told them where to start looking. So the crash retrieval teams would always get to the crash site first so they could recover all the wreckage, police up the whole area, and keep the truth from coming out that the crash took place. If there were any survivors, of course they would be returned to their people. That's the big reason. Then came the second big reason. The ETs realized that we'd be intelligent enough to figure out how to dismantle the airframe and study all the various types of technology and equipment inside the airframe. The power plant, propulsion, communications, flight control systems, building materials. Instead of wiring, we found lots of fiber optic cable. We particularly had an interest in studying their spacesuits. As it goes, you may have heard about the book Day After Roswell by Colonel Corso. He went to explain in his book that he was given all these different pieces of technology to filter over to the private sector for the purposes of studying it. Supposedly it was through the study of the spacesuits that we developed Kevlar, as in Kevlar helmets and Kevlar bulletproof vests. We actually owe the Greys that kind of technology expertise. But again, I should emphasize, we're talking the difference between otherworldly technology, the study of it, back engineering it, and then creating acquired technology for our own use. We had a major leap in technologies, but we also needed help. Now, the third biggest reason why the mothership agreed to face-to-face meetings, why they came forward at all secretly, was the issue of Star Trek weaponry that was also found in the wreckage. We basically found the Star Trek phasers, we found the photon torpedoes, we found the photon torpedo launchers, but also we found handheld ray guns. That's what really concerned the Pleiadians and the Greys and certain other groups of extraterrestrials, that we had that. Now, once the face-to-face meetings got underway, this Pleiadian told me that the negotiating was very difficult from the very, very beginning. All our military was interested in was weaponry and weapons technology. They later learned that although they found weaponry in the wreckage, they were able to figure out it was ray gun weaponry and whatnot, they were never, ever to be able to get any of it to work. They wanted help of the Pleiadians in building our own version of a Star Trek ray gun, along with phasers, photon torpedoes, and whatnot. The Pleiadians said, no, we're not going to help you at all when it comes to weaponizing anything. We actually want our ray guns back. In closing, I'd just like to say the Greys do have their reasons for carrying out the abductions. And I think they should be given the opportunity one day to tell their side of the story. I think that is very important. And they'd be able to do it through the internet once they get their own websites established. I look forward to hearing from you through my internet website and where you can email me. But for right now, this is Captain Kirk Skywalker saying, my motto is, the truth is at hand, it's only a matter of how you go about explaining it.